looking for something, Hunt? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
No. He's got a smoke right there, in his fucking hand. Snatch that shit out of his fat fingers. You need it.
It's my last one. Why would I do that? I'm an honest man. I bet. Sorry I couldn't be of any help. Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body. You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight. So they have to get us to weaken ourselves. So not in, not out.
So you're telling us that you don't know anything about drug smuggling?
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kids sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved his country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some Kip boys. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to.
If they were getting drunk inside the Whirling in Rags, how could they know who broke into the lorry?
What? Aren't we allowed to say that it's the Kips who do all the stealing around here? That's not road science, man. Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be... He's a Samaran guy who likes to pretend he's some kind of businessman. Really, he's just selling his employee. Just follow the smell. It smells like apricot and oil when you're...
Yes, yes.
Looks like I offended your partner there. Too bad. Sealang's usually a little bit south of here. Near the... His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, all right?
I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until we've heard what Sealang himself...
Guess so.
Right to work! Right to work!
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply...
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting...
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair on the other.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union...
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners. It pains me to... This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real...
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
Don't mention it. But also don't forget it. I'm just kidding, of course.
He's not.
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun. When he said, "Don't worry," he actually meant, be very worried.
I know everything, Harry. Right now, I know that you're worried. Don't be worried. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need...
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
God, you're sweating. Your knee...
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so...
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is he trying to pull here?
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry! Mr. Dubois, are you okay?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion. Like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know...
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me... My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesia...
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean, see what his game is first.
I assure you, there's nothing to be ashamed of, Harry. I have a big fat folder on you, Harry. I'm sure you had some concerns you thought I might be able to address. And you were probably right.
It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his...
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first.
It's Harry. Harry Dubois.
You don't feel like either one of these things. You know what your name is. You have a sophisticated name, like that of a count, or a beautiful man.
And I can work with you, Harry. Now, what else can I do for you?
As you look at the folder, Everard covers it with his hand and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a real...
Okay, Harry, you got me. This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM.
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from your actions here.
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi, from the Census Bureau, like I said.
That means he doesn't really know anything about a pity. The mystery of you will have to...
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on. What? Harry, how could you say that to me? You know I appreciate a joke as much as any jolly
The reaction appears to be sincere, but it's impossible to tell with this guy.
You've hurt me, Harry. Me, a friend. But you know what? I trust you, like I trust all my friends. And I know you'll never talk to me about this again, because you don't want to wound me.
He's hiding his real reaction.
Thank you for your understanding. We will
You too, Lieutenant. You know...
None taken. Did we have anything else to do here, Harry?
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age... Yes, Harry. You are obviously in peak physical condition, and I salute both your... Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it. Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground, asking kids, grandmas, everyone. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just...
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to help. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just cut...
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
...with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines. Incredibly talented at opening doors.
I'm not sure I understand. If you're asking us to break down someone's door...
Come now. I just need you to go open a little door for me and leave it unlocked.
An excellent opportunity presents itself, sire. You could win the trust of the arch-liar, pretend to play into his hand. Then, should you wish, bend his efforts towards your own.
Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do.
You want to send someone a message that the police...
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must occasionally enlist outside help. Oh, no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about. A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolishly. Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you. Harry, my dear friend, I am what people call a local bigwig. I know everything that goes on in Martinez. Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can... You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker, too. He'll tell you precisely... Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door.
You might have noticed there's one hanging on a tree.
Oh my. Don't take this question personally, but...
Mr. Clare, the man was hanged with a cargo belt. A steel-reinforced cargo belt. It's safe to... Besides, getting the body down would benefit all of us. It's a stain on the neighborhood.
I can certainly see how having him up there might start affecting some real estate value. But of course, all joking aside, I am going to help you. Jean-Luc, my boy, I'm sending 2 police officers down. They have a dead body in a tree And Jean, please take it easy with the race signs. That's a yes to getting the body down. You can find Jean-Luc down at the gates. He's the big impressive one. You know, tattoos, muscles, ethnic looking. Can't miss him. Great guy. I don't know what that means, Harry, but I love it. I love your initiative. Knowing your... Don't even tell me what was going on. Alcoholic brew, stronger, stopped it, strike. I'm just going to let you surprise me, Harry. Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of... We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez here. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her, because you and I are such good friends, and I'm helping you get that nasty body down from the tree. And with finding your lost gun. I'm not a jealous guy. What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left. Harry! I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What? Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a... Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is, her heart wasn't in it. Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator...
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your... Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost...
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was nice telling him about her right now.
Yes, yes. What's that, Harry? You're getting a little... Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here. You're one of us now. A real red and white...
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium. The magnesium levels in your blood are dangerously low. It's about the low magnesium levels and not the high alcohol level. Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish due to the lack of magnesium in your bloodstream. Maggot sideways? What are you talking about? You need to maggot up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. And the only prescription is insane. Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to transcend the carbon barrel. Just remember, it's not the alcohol. Buy more of, and it's certainly not the Dex, nor smoking for 40 years. It's the lack of magnesium and excess of...
Hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I... Sure, mister. Absolutely. I'm always willing to help out nice fellows such as yourself.
Mr. Dubois, every worker... Eh? Why the hell not? Now, how can I help you today? See you...
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The vows are blurred and flesh. Lower intestine. The fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revershal's problems? Yes, them. Women. Women. Men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy need... That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revershal's problem? Yes, the women. Women. Men of war. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is stomach truth. You're having a... Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times. Okay, yes, let's call it that. Good thinking. That sounds much better. Traditionalism. You like the sound of that. You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota. For the nation, smart. Best not to mention the women too often. Of course you are, Bruta. Of course. Several knobs, 2 buttons marked Marsh and Marsh. With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. with a surprisingly quiet the harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose. Moving this container, of course. For this
I can't see how that was worth the records, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
The crane does not return to its original position. It does. Before you stands a cargo container.
You do? Because I don't. There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? You just picked one out because you wanted to interact with a cargo We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to talk to the Union, right?
No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound. You attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seek to your left. The lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement. This is the night.
Body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. You have succumbed to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. Yes.
He means alcohol.
I doubt it. My micros.
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk and drowned.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink.
Oh, does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
Jerking motions, signs of a late state. You gave the world eugenics, electricity. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicable. You will be...
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
Enough with this. Bring your troops. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al.
You could internalize Measurehead's race theory. It would enrich you rhetorically. Well, not as such. What you do with the mastery of advanced race theory is up to you. You could reject the findings, sure, or accept them and become an
So it was. You surmounted the harbor wall in a display of athletic prowess to reach my superior. then had him give me an order. I salute.
You're so noble.
There's a but.
But while I am gone, someone must stand guard on the bridge. That someone needs to be you. Both of you.
This is the uncomfortable result of not taking it on ourselves.
Listen to your little friend. Babe, see that they stay here the whole time.
The woman's gaze follows measure.
So, you guys are like cops or something? Cool. I like men with guns and power.
You hear that? That sound. He's breaking something.
Yeah, Jean-Luc must be really tearing it up over there. I wish I could see it.
Look at you! RCM rent-a-cops! Guarding that bridge like Everott's lapdogs! Is this where it's at now?
And who are you? What is your business here? Why are your clothes 4 sizes too small for you?
A shrill laughter interrupts you, echoing across Martinez. It's Kuhn. The man turns to look behind him at the behemoth appearing around the corner, approaching him, walking past him.
The corpse has been removed from the tree. Stand down and congratulate yourself. You have sided with Ray's victory, and what you had to do was to become a Union man for all to see.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic.
He had nothing to do with it.
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that. Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront international. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. Of course you are, Revacholian man. The failure of communism to challenge the world. Above all, rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate youth culture? Rock and roll music? Rock and roll is moribund. Only Koikos listen to it anymore. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race, the South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We are the future. That I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulembuir are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Simone's women walk into the... No. I have heard about it on the radio. I'm from Couronne. And no, it is not just in Revachol. You have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today.
I think this racist is better than the last. But the next racist will be...
That will be the...
There always is.
Race is reality. I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition,
You pick up on something artificial in his tone, like he's putting on an act. This is unlike him. He is you.
The Hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. I answer to the Union alone. Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman. Fine. They have recently Find out for yourself.
Interesting.
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
Welcome to Revachol. You hear him yell at a redhead woman visit. He must think redheads are immigrants.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection.
The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of throwbacks in the phylogenetic tree. His large jaw, for example, could be a trait indicative of criminalism. Also, his earlobes could be small.
That atavistic stigmata makes pussy say yes, plenty.
Babe, thanks. But I got this.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you? What thing? We already got in the harbor. You just want to...
You are obviously a liberal, Sayolite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from... There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need education on? Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Mao, of course. The Mao are riddled with eczema to the point where they find it impossible to smile. They are all lactose intolerant, a common result of inbreeding. A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades. In Maun cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clogs on their feet and little green tassels on their hats. You know them by the names of their nation-states. The
Mahoon is a derogative term for first world people of Gotvaldian descent. They do not all have eczema. Also, people of Katla, like the Suru and the Uhu, are much more lactose intolerant. In some municipalities of Oranje, people do wear shoes made of wood to street parade.
The Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental racial purity and tassels.
Colorful tassels are, let's be honest, not a good sartorial choice for this century. He might want to avoid wooden clogs too.
The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteo, the other large primordial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a heroic race. True, they are violent and expansionist, but they have a glandular problem. Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic, as proven by the Maun and the Mesk. Occidental type A is in retrograde. The Simonese and the Areopagite are on the ascent. The indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Simonese inhabit the southern. The Areopagites are the master race of the Ilmaran peasants. The Simonese are descendants of the Areopagites. We came here during a heroic migration from Ilmara to Ansuland. Thousands of years before the lactose. The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable, the latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simeno-Areopagite, or Simeop. Type B are the unheroic races, amorphous non-competitors.
The Koikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white, officer, in a suspect description.
Yes. To an untrained eye, the Koiko appear white and pinkish, like a ham sandwich. But pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare. The Koiko, the countless micronationalities of Grad, are all inexplicably obsessed with potard. The only thing they like more is dividing into microscopic ethnostates, like political amoeba.
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
Democratic ethnostates are microscopic. They breed genetic mediocrity. Its leaders will be the genetic epitome of the Simonese and Areopagite stock. The Vacholians, halfway between type A and the racial cauldron. Two makes to know right from wrong.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The mysteries of the people of this planet are a tragedy that has played out countless times over. The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad, in Zara's ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness, a prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes. A soft, sponge-like mass of dementia, hallucination, and paranoia. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia. A hereditary prion condition. Enough of type mediocrity. Types CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments. and tragic maladaptations. They are tortured creatures waiting to be lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Seminese man. The mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized motor carriages with hydraulic suspension.
It seems unlikely that two human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
You are right. You have misunderstood. Then there is the Simino Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Simino? The Koiko, as you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Racial scientists have this will never happen. The Simonese and the Koiko may have similar interbreeding problems as the mosquito. We will never know precisely, but enough. It is cruel to entertain ourselves with the deformities of Type F. You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come instantly. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss.
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint. From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit. What are you, deaf? They're perfect, like rock star politician and drug addict teacher. Embrace the superstardom you've worked so hard to establish. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop, Dick Mullen. With a sudden flash, the world free. The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy. Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue.
With the RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual.
The fuck are they on? Cop's gonna cut his shit up!
No, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain. From autopsy to cleanup to social work, everything. Your station would... Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done it.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Muindi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was... You must have me confused with the Copperpedia. You, sir, you are the Copperpedia.
Unfortunately, no. Unhygienically? Let's not go glove hunting, please. Let's use division of labor. I perform the anatomical side, while you take notes. That's right.
Yeah, we got this. We're smart. The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first.
That's you.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings. Just like...
KK57.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 50. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
And what?
HDB 41 0803. Help me out with the time of... Let's say 1300. A good time. 1015. It's understated.
Good. Let's go with that. NA. NA.
Dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side. He nods.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Muindi. This, the pudgy mess of curdled meat, looks neither mondial.
Fucky, fucky!
Pigs can have sex!
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th. What else? 9. Body identified by...
HDB 41 0803.
None. At least not after the initial examination. Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem. They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a hold somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row. Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than him. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant MacDougall. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased.
We should start the postmortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think.
See, it's up.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing...
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else. Patience. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away, there will be a window of opportunity after the lieutenant has gone.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alpha. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case files as document. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters, generally consistent with age 42. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with the age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
His hair feels wet, soaked with rain, cold to touch. Not that different from a living person. After, the stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair. There's brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking shit about Kuno's velocity?
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark.
See, my pig.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower array. After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact.
No! I fucking...
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
We have... Last item. Hands. Hands are clean. No sign of a recent struggle. I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
I think that may well be the moral of every story of his... Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury-related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old...
Yeah, Jack that...
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact and remarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything. It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Inside, you see darkness. Mute silence as always.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus. Hepatobiliary, NA. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? Neither am I. That's it. Same for toxicology and serology, NA. Unless you have untapped reservoirs.
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
No. Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But...
brimming with cocaine.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list? Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 feels. Leave a 4th one too. Nothing. Just in case. Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. And your opinion, officer? Agreed. Next injury? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response.
At maximum velocity.
has confessed to causing it at
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description.
Right. Next. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would... We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail.
Oh yeah, well done, Master Detective. Maybe a drink is in order?
Now, you see, that worries me. You will die if you drink. You know that, don't you? You are proving a useful detective. The organization would miss you. I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg for processing.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
I thought we decided to leave it to processing.
Damn it. This is turning into some... Okay, so you can sneak out of your room maybe, after he's gone asleep. No reply.
Please stop trying to perform a necromantic ritual. We have other things to do.
So you tried to kill Kuno's girl? What's up with that? You want to talk about it?
Not all of us.
No one's moving anywhere. Do this shit again, and Kuno's gonna climb in. Kuno knows where you sleep. The pig who fucked his window up. But you and Kuno are good for now. Pals, shoot that shit at Kuno.
The determination in his voice leaves little room for doubt in his sincerity. He means every word. Needs to be taken seriously.
And you're back in business with the Kuno. Now what is it?
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you...
This is where you say your bed.
Detective.
Wow. The RCM.
Real big dick cops. Look at them. Reckless.
Yeah, look at the big dick on...
Must be something in the water in Jamrock.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might want to start asking your questions.
Do a head count first. Connect these men to the tracks you saw in the yard. Chances are they're going to match. Starting from the right, boot size 44, blonde man, in his 30s, sitting on his right. Standard working boots, size 45, across at the other table. Hobnailed working boots, size 43. Gang tattoos, Mesk or Sarah. He spent his youth in Villa Labos, a housing project in the Jamrock quarter. They were in, and then standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 46, the big dick. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. A little patch below it in the far corner, standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 44, 40-something, non-alcoholic on his neck. Forget it, it's not important. Let's call this one the musician. Size 41, with the light step. Not a child, after all. An older man with a rat face, mean, watery eyes in the middle, heaving and wheezing. Big guy, boot size 46, deep marks, probably carried. In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs, but there's a discrepancy. Exactly. You've stood there for about 4 seconds, not saying.
The fuck is with you, fella? So, you're not just here to swing your big dick. You're here for the pretty boy.
They love him, boss. Spend all day digging around.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Container belt, like we use in the harbor? Because we took it from the harbor where we work. We did this together, all of us, until he was dead. That's why there's a goddamn...
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened so that you don't waste any more of your time.
All 7 together. They're diluting responsibility. It's an anti-arrest tactic.
How many people have you sent to the Shays?
Chaise électrique is the method of capital punishment in Revachol.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
The River Esperance Correctional Facility, a military prison run by the coalition, dubbed Reunion by the inmates. The origin of the...
Oh, so you are just a simple, well-meaning man, eh? Ever been in Sori...
So is hanging a man, slowly, without breaking his neck.
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation.
That's for the courts in Les Jardins to decide. Not for the officer making an arrest. What you can do right now is go back to your station and write a report.
No. We'll stay here and discuss what happened that night.
You don't have to keep answering his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
Known him? We don't associate. Yeah!
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town.
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier? The representative for White Pines? The same company you are striking against?
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to... Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions.
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out alive. In my... And he stepped...
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Cohoy and Semenine written all over him.
A live grenade. Right here in our bar.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hire merc shit like that. Story.
'Cause one night, he walked straight up to the mic and said, "I'm RNA's goddamn special."
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some RNA's paratroopers.
We couldn't believe it either. But he fucking did. Right there. Like some kind of animal.
Sire, the tale is true. This is a serious violation of the karaoke code.
Wrong. He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened...
From rape to harassment to threats of violence. Why? He regrets mentioning it. Hopes you didn't notice.
To kill us all, if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over. And that was before...
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started to come in here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grabbed one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage.
He grabbed someone?
Yeah. This girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming. "Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt?" Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man...
Yeah, me and Eugene got around.
There's something odd here. Seems like they don't want to talk about that rape Titus mentioned. Why not? This is a serious allegation. Make them talk about it.
No. You're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter. And I'm not discussing...
There's nothing you can do for now. He's stonewalling you.
We hanged him up by his neck.
Didn't they teach you anything?
The autopsy showed there were no ligature marks. His hands were not tied.
Look, I'm not gonna play 20 questions.
Yeah, I knocked him out. Came up behind him and clapped him in the back of the head. He went down like a sack of sand.
That's right, lawman. And
make them a bit more uncomfortable first. Then see if it all adds up.
My fucking elbow, Copper. Samaran boxing style.
Samaran boxing, or Sambo, is an eloquently violent set of one-on-one fighting moves, originating from the Samaran Isola. Sambo style implies stealth, cleverness, and cool. He may be lying, but he's good at it. No twitching, no rushing, no uncalled for details.
Right fucking here. Eugene already told you that the fuck had started.
Yeah, man. Weren't you listening?
Titus is solid as a rock, and so are a few others. But Elaine, who looks like he might be Titus's right-hand man. This little rat-faced fellow is solid, too. Always fit him neither. Mostly keeps to his tomato juice, or what. This one, he's sweating profusely and has difficulty breathing. They've smartly kept him out of the conversation thus far. Definitely the weakest link.
No. Of course he's having trouble breathing. Just look at how fucking fat.
Fuck off, Shanky. Angus is...
Keep your eye on this powerful guy. Sooner or later, he's going to break like a piece of twig.
And fuck you, too, Copper. Picking on Angus like this.
This one is a stone wall. You won't get more out of them about the night of the murder. Not yet.
Like what, Copper? Yeah, lawman. Why don't...
It's almost an anthropological sight, watching him try to assert...
Not in the arresting mood?
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his holster. You hear the nylon of his coat hiss as he steps closer.
Look, Coppers, I know you think you're doing your job here, but there are 7 of us, and 2 of you.
The little guy? You're...
So, little guy,
Yeah, little questions.
Nothing. Your investigation here is done.
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. Some things don't... I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first-degree murder.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us. Real law officials. You're lucky you didn't get a beating. What are you talking about, madman? There's... Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy?
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
She? So there's an 8th Hardy, and it's a Hardy girl? Who might it be?
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do the talking here. Now...
It has to be good, if he won't let you pursue it. Looks...
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy boy. It's a she...
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is... You're not cops here. Don't go...
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks. This is already a victory. We'll learn more.
Again. Just get the dead.
Good one.
We...
Didn't they...
Yep.
Yeah.
That...
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first.
Like what, copper? About fucking time.
You see a heavy steel door with the door does not.
Can I help you? Got the 20 real? You must be kidding, right? Yeah, good one, officer. But this establishment only takes cash. Now...
Freight, near the gates. They'll exchange it.
Then why are you wasting money?
Looking for something, Hunt? Come to tell me to...
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything. Wow. I didn't know you worked for the Union, sir. Anything else I can do?
No, you don't work for the Union. The Union works for you. Blow the whole thing on speed and gin. Right now. Speed and gin.
A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
She looks up from under her brow.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up? Nope, don't smoke. Some of the other drivers do, though. There's still a few around, waiting for the jam to disperse.
Yup, nothing wrong with that statement. Your senses have nothing to add.
You could also check the kiosk down the street. Ah, man, me and narcotics go way back. Had some good times, but those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the inquiry, my man? Hey, man, that's serious criminal talk. Are you trying to pull some sort of...
Entrapment is a practice whereby an officer of the law induces a person to commit a criminal offense that the person would have otherwise been unlikely.
We have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this roundabout is waiting for a bulk shipment from the...
Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. This jam's got folks up in arms, and I'm afraid it's headed toward a conflagration. Gotta guard the stuff. Bosses don't look kindly on missing cargo.
A rhymesmith? This is quite credible. It goes with its cadence.
Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revachol. I'm a guest.
We wouldn't say he's lying, sire. Your best verse?
That's brutal, man.
No, stop. He's already...
That's,
In the name of God, what are you doing?
Yeah, I get that, and it's... Yeah.
He's not lying. He lied.
Yes, and I also thank you for stopping.
Still has her eyes fixed on the photograph.
If you want her attention...
Where am I? Who are you? Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam in the 50s. The men have small jaws and everything is made out of plastic. Why do you need plastic when you can make the world out of amber? Back in Mefka, during the time of the revolution, the side walls and cafes are filled with until you came along, that is. This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide brim hat. His hair is dark as an...
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of cinema whenever he came on the screen. And schoolboys...
In all likelihood, it's a world that's only ever existed in her mind.
Someone was. They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make? They're beautiful. That is all that matters. Beautiful and true. I wasn't dreaming. I was there, Loman. It was early spring, and the mine behind the black sun had just come out. While you, people, were tearing each other apart over you.
The Republic of Mesk is a massive confederation on the Isola of Muindi, the world's largest state by territory. It's a petro-state, a constitution.
Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole. Diamonds? Of course not. But wouldn't it be marvelous if I was? Whatever stupid things they put in the lorry, I imagine. I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive the lorry.
She says that as if something narcotic is the real reason.
Oh, it's so much more than a high where I go.
Yeah, it's definitely some kick. Some terrible kick in the dark. A sleep kick. Perhaps.
Then it's contraband, Loman. What? Do you want to take an old woman in? Be my guest. Lock me away like Bad Hand Hermenegildo.
Bad Hand, Hermenegildos's bad hand, strangled 300 people. What can I say? Some people just really like strangling people.
Of course not. To truly understand the boyadero.
The boyadero, boya for short, is a cowherder from upstream Magritte, the great steppes of northern Mesk.
It's an old ballad about a young girl who falls in love with a daring boyadero. He promises to marry her as soon as he returns from the western plain. Don't be stupid. The boyadero returns from the western plain a changed man, one night, as he and his beloved are...
In the background, you can hear the orchestra swell as the screen fills with the maiden's imploring eyes.
No. The boyadero strangles his beloved and throws her body in the Maigret. Then he rides off, because the Western Plain is calling to him. You have to understand. A true boyadero needs a whole horizon to himself. He can't be tied down by man or woman. His beloved was selfish. She didn't know what it meant to love a boy.
She's just a distracted old woman. We should maybe let her get back to her thing.
So he doesn't think she's a smuggler?
You hear that, Lowman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm one of the best communers around. Lomonosov's Land, Udajnaya Zemlya, the Western Plain, the Transcatolia Magistral, you for 1A, Adestradas du Mirador, all the good ones, the deep trenches, where the bluebirds fly. You're right, Lowman. I'm the one who should take my health more seriously.
A correct appraisal. You're quite
Is that all you woke me up to say? What do I need drugs for, Lowman? What I see, what I feel, the great adversary. No. Yes, there is a protagonista and an adversario.
Those epithets are familiar somehow. The great adversary, the great unrest.
Then what were you getting?
Maybe if she thought you're corrupt.
Why would I want to do that? Lowman, what in the name of God are you talking about? Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way. Just this month, I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grad, on the U41A. What do you... It's diamonds, Lowman, obviously. Easy. He's the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see from him.
That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others.
Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music, or the seagulls. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will.
I think we're done here, no?
Yes, go.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy... The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings. The driver has adorned his space with a large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant, it is a seal of Royalist era Revachol. The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you. making you forget the lieutenant's surname. The faded marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions. Just they look pretty ancient.
Where? There? Those are old. Yes, the one that happened half a century ago. Those bullets were fired during the revolution, and not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it.
Evening, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the water.
My friend Barry the Butcher is stuck on the other side of the waterlock. I'm keeping him company and eating.
From the corner of your eye, you see a man in a yellow shirt and grey overalls.
Very good stuff. Anything I can do for you, officer? I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird. Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here, especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then. Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Yeah, not really much else. Just bombed out ruins. Sure thing.
It is salty. It is savory. It is chewy. The hang...
Want some too, officer?
Why not?
A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter soaks in the canal. The sign billboard has fallen on the waterlock, keeping it open, and thus out of order. Judging by the size of the impact and the parallel lines of burnt rubber, the cause was probably a motor vehicle. Side slip marks indicated that the vehicle was traveling up the crater at 35 kilometers an hour. The black marks on the roof indicate that the vehicle vaulted from the crater to the roof. The panel served as a takeoff ramp. The vehicle soared through the air, hitting the billboard and upsetting the posts. Then it continued its flight, taking the billboard with it. The sign broke the vehicle's fall into the Samaran butter billboard still looks freshly painted, suggesting it took the plunge within the past 72 hours. Still speeding, the vehicle made a loop and vanished into the fog along the coast. There are two good candidates, the Caprice 40 and the Linear G20. It's about the right size, and the tire marks look like they came. The Caprice 40 is a very popular model, with bank clerks, topping pie delivery drivers, secondary school teachers, cops, strippers dressed as cops, undressed strippers. Very sturdy but light motor carriage. More likely than most to survive that jump. The Linear G22 is not a particularly popular model. Due to its peculiar proportion, you'd have to follow the tracks to be sure. The lieutenant looks on, waiting for you. The crumpled Samaran butter billboard still soaks in the canal. The lieutenant... A rusting control panel with loose wires dangling out from the hole where an indicator... This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against... Nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea. The spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? You pull the lever all the way up until the metal click. Nothing happens. The spring brings the... Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality? You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback. Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and big men on big horses.
Franco-Nigerian knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well up. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Is the Harman Welshie W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm. If police work means playing tapes, sure, you can use it for that. Absolutely, I've tested each one myself.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
Yes, officer, as you...
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know that...
It was brought to me to...
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
700 real. A bargain, I dare say. The light has undergone 3 transformations, and every transformation...
The light has been removed and rewired. That's 2
The most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures.
Okay, that checks out. Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb. yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by smells like worn cotton and a little old sweat. Worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin.
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on. Can't have you leave. Hell yeah, man. I don't usually carry printed tees, but this one... A fan? No, I wouldn't go that far. But I do think the Hjelmdalaman saga is an integral part of our shared reality. Most people don't think that the man from Hjelmdal really exists. I mean, even if the man from Hjelmdal didn't exist before the advent...
Okay.
You sound skeptical. It's not that complicated. All that's required is... Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the Hjelmdal, and watched northern lights travel across...
His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual neural act.
2 real.
That's dirt cheap.
But why? I deal in goods, not services. Welcome to Hjelmdal, officer.
There are clothes inside. Cheap second-hand clothes.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality fabrics, best retro...
How about some premium class service over here? Like paying with network. Save the economy? That sounds off.
Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economically conscious. Recycle your cash, keep it in circulation. Don't buy new things. Look around, officer. You see all these premium goods just sitting there? Is this really the economy we want to leave to our children? That's the spirit. We've all got to do our part. Your part is to open the box and buy some clothes.
You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester blends that make the box smells like cat piss or like an old person with...
Economical, but also trendy. Look first-hand, buy second-hand. Keep the economy moving.
Something cold grazes your hand. Synthetic and sleek. A windbreaker. Surf, it says, but also wind. Practical, and yet it may deaden your senses to the world around you.
Good choice, officer. Mega sporty. And it's only $4.50 for you, sir. Gotta prepare for springtime, right?
You see 2 lowly, defeated speakers, thralls.
I can see you've a taste for luxury, officer.
Speaking of luxury, a pair of found ultras. The design is impossible.
Those sneakers, mister. Those sneakers are the latest Fallen sneakers.
Only that's Fallen Ultra. We're the future. You remember the... You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded. The name Sileng is embroidered.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool here. Everything's cool. The goods are...
From out on the bay, a cool wind gathers. It sweeps into the city, tugging at the textiles hanging around the stand.
You're very cool.
You feel a twitch in your index fingers. There's a finger shootout brewing.
What? No finger pistols, officer? Pew pew!
The lieutenant nods.
You're right, officer. 100%. No playing around then. Strictly business. Maybe I can interest you in some premium menswear instead. Me? It's a boring story, officer.
This man probably comes from Seaguy, sometimes known as the Apricot. Apricot Suzerainty calls to mind an era when the Seaguy archipelago was colonized by Revachon. It's
very cool. I admire your awareness of our intertwined histories. It's super nice of you to apologize for colonialism, but the Apricot Suzerainty is a shithole. That's why I left. That's so cool, officer. Speaking of, why not support an independent look? Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs. That's so cool. You investigating the local drug trade like some cool narc?
a blatant lie, sire. Yet he tells it with such conviction. We'd believe him if we didn't know better.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda.
So you admit you're a lorry?
No, I just said I work harder, and he's an...
Realizing he can't get out of it. Smart.
Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream. Nothing. I told you.
And...
Crowd, you know.
No, he wasn't talking about an abstract crowd. It was that crowd.
Shush, please. There's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her.
Interesting. Could this driver be connected to the Hardy Boys?
All of them. I don't know. I told you.
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos. I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I have...
He's not ruling her out.
I don't know. I'm not local. I don't know anything about that. All right. I scored. Let's cap this off with a purchase. You can walk away from...
Start with a little compliment, then work your way up from there.
Oh, okay. But
After all this mess, the broken seals...
An investment? What kind of investment? Fair point. You can't have a successful business without a loyal customer base. How much is your loyalty? 10 real is a bargain for that kind of investment. You got it, my man.
There's a pile of cheap sunglasses.
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the...
Stylish shades, huh? They'd be abort. These are hideous. What's more, they don't even...
Damn, officer! You look like a mega secret spy.
They're perfect for concealing your bloodshot and baggy eyes. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to take you seriously with these things.
No, you are definitely not buying those. No, I can't. We can't.
These are all boring. Boring, third-rate ho-hum. Those UV stickers are almost certainly just there for the show. If anything,
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, superb material, very cool. Oh, very interesting choice, officer.
This is how a sea monster sees the world. You've become a sea... Alright, but these actually make your vision worse. It's like literally being underwater.
Wow, officer. And they can be yours for a mere 3 riyal.
The lieutenant tilts his head and steps back.
You look like a musician. Like a blind musician. But you could do worse. Take them if you want.
A man who knows his style. Much respect. A good starter pair, officer.